Welcome back to another episode of Barstools and Billboards podcast. Here with me is Mr. David. So, David, if you want to, go ahead and say hello to the listeners and the watchers, and we'll get right into it.
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is David Roland. I was born in Sherman, Texas, right there on the border of Oklahoma. I was almost an Okie, but not quite. Um, I live in Florida now. I do a lot of work here, so I go back and forth and do a lot of recording still there in Texas. I still got family there and a 14-year-old in Texas, so I spend a lot of time in Texas still.
I got you. So, David, if you want to, let's go all the way back to where you discovered your love for country music and tell us how it all started.
When I was a little kid, I'd go stay at my grandparents a lot on the weekends and during the day, when before I was in school, obviously. And, they listened to a lot of, a lot of country music television on the TV all the time. And, I grew up listening to, Clint Black and George Strait. And, my dad's a piano player. So, I was listening to a lot of old country and stuff like that, pretty much everything in between. Um, there's a huge influence from old country, Merle Haggard and all that. And yeah, so I mean, I kind of discovered it back then. I'd always have a toy guitar that I'd be, pictures when I was a little kid playing a toy guitar. And I've got quite a bit of musicians, kind of in the family, so it just kind of followed suit. And when I was about 12 or 13, picked up a guitar, and the rest is history.
I got you. So, looking back at some of them names that you mentioned, like Merle Haggard, George Strait, and Clint Black, do you see any of them as kind of like idols or role models of how you?
Um, as far as how it compares with my music,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would say they definitely influence it. I don't, the the thing about country music that I like the most is the storytelling. Like I always believe that a song's got to have a story, and you've got to be able to kind of picture it and play a music video in your head when you're listening to it. And if you can't do that, then it doesn't make sense as a song. It's got to have obviously a catchy melody, like all my exes live in Texas and stuff like that. So, there's these hooks and stuff. So the in a way I would say, yeah, it absolutely influences. Do I sound like them? No. But did they influence it? Yeah, absolutely.
I got you. So, how long have you been really? You said that you still work and stuff like that full time, correct?
Yeah, I'm independent contractor, so I can kind of do what I want when I want. But I'm in do a lot of restoration stuff, construction. So
Okay. So, how long do you think? How long has it been that you've started writing your own songs and singing?
November, December of 24, so almost a year. But I've been playing guitar since I was 13.
I got you. So, what's some of the things that you've learned in the past year about the industry?
Oh, about the industry itself,
And just what you've learned about yourself and about the industry.
man, I would say that what I've learned about myself is there's definitely a lot more there than what I thought there was as far as songwriting. But I've also learned that it's hard to write a song that's a really good one. I mean, I can slap songs together all night, but it doesn't mean they're going to really be good or they're going to have a really good outline story, or anything like that. So what I've learned is persistency, being persistent and just consistent, whatever, staying on top of it and just always, it's kind of like anything. The more you practice, the better you get. And if you kind of get complacent or you stop writing or do anything like that, then you'll hit a slump pretty quick.
I got you. So, one of the big things that's in music writing right now is AI, artificial, intelligence, whatever. A lot of people are calling themselves songwriters, and they're using AI to write the songs. Me personally, my opinion on it, I don't think there's any talent involved
No,
there.
no, um, not at all. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, AI is kind of taken over everything. It seems like. I think that if you've got to, you know, if you want to use AI and that's what you want to do, that's cool. But don't do that and call yourself a songwriter.
right, right. Or whenever some people, may write a song themselves, but they get AI to sing it.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I mean,
Yeah,
unless you've got, unless you've got some reason why you cannot sing, like a medical thing. But even at that, I mean, yeah, you can do it, but there's so many people that do that and they don't disclose that it's not them. I
yeah,
mean, I hear it all the time, like I hear it all the time. It's like if people, you have a right to do whatever makes you happy, but don't use AI creating music and calling yourself a songwriter whenever a computer wrote it. You didn't write it. You just told them what you wanted it to be about.
right.
You
I completely agree.
use that for writing an essay.
Yeah.
Use that for writing a bio for something,
Use it
like,
for an email.
yeah, use it for an email whenever, if literature is not your thing, if punctuation is not your thing, then yeah, you can use it then, I guess. But when it comes to songwriting, I mean, everybody, like I said, everybody can do whatever they want, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't make you a songwriter.
Right. Which I completely agree. But man, if you don't mind, I like to be able to let my listeners hear you do something original if you feel up to it.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's
If
see
we're on the
here.
subject of songwriting and stuff like that, play something that you wrote for us.
Yeah, this one right here is the one that this is one that this is my most recent recorded one. It's not released yet. Depending on when this video comes out, it might be out by then. But
Yeah.
I've already got it all recorded. I'm just waiting on a few little final touches, and then it can get mixed, and then it goes to mastering, and then it goes to Spotify. But even whenever I put them on Spotify now, what I'll do is I'll put it for 3 or 4 weeks out. Try to let the algorithm do its thing. But yeah, but this is my most recent one I wrote. I worked on this one for I worked on this one. This one probably took me about 3 or 4 weeks to really, once I had the idea. I posted a thing on TikTok, kind of the very beginning, the intro, and I put a title on there like, should I finish this? And there's a lot of people who were like, yeah, this is legit. So then I've got all the recording software to do my own recording if I want to. And I use it just for demos, but I recorded the first half of the song because I didn't have the second half. And then once I did that, then I kept listening to it, and then it helped me create the rest of it. Just. But yeah, this song right here, this one's called Heading Home.
David Roland, everybody.
Do what?
I said David Roland, everybody.
This road I'm traveling on, been on for far too long. And I can't wait to get back home. How has it been? Need to see my old friends. Sorry I waited so long. Sorry I waited so long. Driving down this long main highway, nothing in the rear view but problems behind me. Going back to the place that I've only known. Oh, and I'm heading home. Said I'm heading home. time I spend away, it feels like wasted days. Out here searching for more. Tonight I had a dream. It brought back memories, and I couldn't fight it no more. Need to walk back through that door. So I'm driving down this no-name highway. The sun starts rising as I cross the state lines, going back to the place that I've only known. Oh, and I'm heading home. Oh, I'm heading home. Said I'm heading home. It's what I'm traveling on. Been gone for far too long. I can't wait to get back home. I usually play with a harmonica, but I can't find my harmonica holder. But yeah, that one's called Heading Home.
Great. That was
Yeah,
great.
That's my and I ain't sang since last night. So like, there's a certain point where you gotta kind of like warm up your voice. But I went so hard on TikTok live like 4 nights in a row till like 2 a.m. And I said, dude, like I gotta give it a break. But it's at a fair enough break. It'll be fine.
So, man, if you don't mind, I know you mentioned to me earlier that song was about whenever you head back to Texas and stuff like that. Some song recording. If you don't mind, just give us a little backstory on that.
So I whenever I moved to Florida in 2017, I was under the impression myself, hey, I'm going to go here for 6 months and work and try to make as much money as I can and then come back home. Because that's all I'd ever known. I hadn't really been anywhere. And, I think about that quite often. And it honestly, like a lot of times it kind of makes me sad because I'm like, man, like, I left everything. And, but like things weren't really going the way I wanted them to. I wasn't in no trouble or anything like that. Just life wasn't really working out like I wanted it to. I said, man, there's got to be more. And the I miss the idea. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like I write songs based off of the idea of something. So I miss, there's like a nostalgic feeling to it. Kind of I don't ever use the word, but like somber feeling, like kind of sad about, thinking about that because, that was my full intention was to go there and work for a little while and then come back. And so I miss that idea, if that makes sense. Like I
Right.
wish, it's like when I first left, it was kind of I was by myself. I didn't really know anybody. I went there with nothing to my name, and um to Florida that is. And it was kind of like a do or die situation for me. So the because I had enough money to get here, but not enough money to get back if I, unless I made it work. And I mean,
Right.
obviously I made it work. I kind of put myself in those positions and I really thrive in that kind of environment. But I get sad sometimes whenever I think about, the intentions of wanting to go back. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I do.
And so I wrote it based off of that. Like it's kind of a weird, like it's kind of a yeah, it's just kind of a reminiscing kind of thing. The second verse, says, the time I spent away feels like wasted days. I'm out here searching for more. And that's kind of it was just the idea of being out just knowing nobody, and you know, home being kind of where it's at, you know. So do I miss Texas? There's a lot of parts of it I do miss, but you know, I mean, there's just the opportunity there. It doesn't seem like was really for me. Now, the crazy plot twist is now that I'm doing the music, it's like that's kind of where the demand is. So, you know, it's everything happens for a reason. But I write a lot of stuff off that. So yeah, that song was just written about the idea of missing home.
Yes, sir. So- Which I did enjoy the way that you do your voice during that song.
Yeah,
I
I
think you
appreciate
have a
it.
really unique voice, honestly,
Yeah,
especially in today's country music scene. You know, it's really unique. Yeah, you're not forcing yourself to try and sound raspy or anything like
yeah,
that, or you're not trying to sound like somebody else from 20 years ago. In my opinion,
yeah.
it sounds really good.
No, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'm still learning how to sing.
You got
Gotta
pretty
just
down pat, in my opinion.
yeah.
Sounds
No, that's a really good one. I actually, you know, I really enjoy playing that one because it's just got a I don't know, man. It's just something about that song I really like. I'm really excited for that one to release.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm sure everybody else is since you gave us a little sneak peek of it. And
Yeah,
it sounds really good. I'm sure
yeah,
it's really good with all the band and stuff like that too.
yeah. Anytime I go live on TikTok and I'm playing that, like it seems like the viewer count always jumps up. You know, there'll be 3 or 4 people, and then all of a sudden it'll be 15 to 20, and I'm like, all right, cool. You know, the song's working. Like people are,
Right.
you know, it's kind of it's catching people's attention. So I'm really excited about that one getting finished and released because that one's gonna I think that one's gonna do really well.
And if you don't mind me asking, where do you get your style of singing? Since it's so unique, like is it just something that you come up with yourself, or something that you learned along the way, or
You know, growing up where I did, you know, cross Canadian ragweed was real popular. I'd say there's some cross Canadian ragweed influence. One of my best friends, his name's Travis Parker. Parker with a P. He we sound similar in the way we do our inflections, and a lot of it's because he's the one that worked with me on it and kind of taught me how to wouldn't say how to sing, but you know how to kind of get more comfortable and kind of add some razzle dazzle, you know. And
yeah,
the we don't sound the same, but there's a lot of similarities there. You know, it's just like, you know, people that, you know, they idled Stevie Ray Vaughan and their lead guitarist, they're gonna kind of sound like Stevie Ray. But you know, they don't sound the same, but you can tell there's a lot of influence. A lot of my influences, you know, Travis, you know, he's a huge part of what I'm doing. Um, Turnpike Troubadours are huge, you know, from a songwriting perspective, because I think Evan Felker's got some of the best storytelling there is. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would say it's just a little bit of combo of just all of it.
I got you. I get a big thank you to Travis because
Yeah.
he helped you find your voice. Uh, y'all done any shows together since he kind of taught you how to sing, and you kind of elaborated earlier about you helped him with some
Yeah.
parts on the guitar.
When I met him, it was in 2010. He had a little Yamaha guitar. He still got that guitar, and he could play a little bit, but like I was playing guitar for a guy named Sean Fussell, and then we played at this place called Hanks. I played guitar for it was for a Jerry Audley's birthday bash there at Hanks Bar and Grill in McKinney, Texas. And you know, 1100 Springs was there, Matt Hillier was there, Bart Crow was there. There was a lot of big name people. And I played guitar for Jerry Audley's son, Cole, who was a singer. And Travis went with me, you know, and he thought it was just so cool because it was just, you know, like these, you know, I wasn't anything special, but like there was just all these big name artists, and Travis was just like he thought it was so cool, and so he played, you know, he played guitar a little bit, and you know, and he took that. I think that was a big part of his early start, and I'm not taking credit for it because it's not, you know, he did it himself, like he's organic as it gets, but you know, just I was really into it at the time, and he really really saw that, and I think that that really helped him a lot. Um, and I'd sit and play guitar with him. He'd come over to the house and we all hang out. His wife and my wife at the time were, you know, best friends, and so
Mhm.
we played guitar a lot. And I had one night I pulled out a harmonica and was playing him. And he's a big harp player. He's a really good harmonica player. So there was, I never really would sing, but I'd always play. And then he started doing big things, like really really moving up, and he far exceeded anything I've ever done as far as from a musical standpoint. Yeah, he's an incredible artist.
I got you. Have y'all have y'all had the opportunity to open up for anybody or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, we opened for Brian Elijah Smith in July. This little series outside of Sherman, Texas, called Thornhill Music Series, and Travis. I started the show, then Travis, and then Brian. So yeah, we did that. We've got some stuff that we're working on together that we got to. I got to go back to Texas at some point, and we're gonna do some recording. And I've told him this a bunch of times, but I really want to release a song together with him, just because I feel like it's the least that I can do, since he's the one that kind of pushed me to get to where I am, as far as just writing and playing and all that. So yeah, we've
Mhm.
we've got a lot of stuff cooking that we're gonna do together.
I got you. What is the big difference in from where you were playing in Texas, starting out, to now where you're playing in? I suppose you're doing some shows in Florida and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like.
do some
What's
stuff in Florida. What was the question? What's the big difference?
yeah? What's the big difference between the two?
Texas is definitely the better market when it comes to country music. Um, Florida's starting to really kind of shift to it, so it's a beautiful thing, because Florida's incredible as far as the weather and all that. You don't really
Mm-hmm.
have like freezing winters and stuff, depending on where you're at. But south of Orlando, or Orlando and south, all along the coast. I mean, it'll get cold, but it's not ever anything like what they get up north. So the biggest difference, with country, as of this moment, Texas is a better scene because it's more open to country.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Florida has more potential because there's not very many of us in Florida doing this. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like, it's not saturated like it is in Texas. Like, you go to Nashville and there's tons of artists that are just incredible artists that nobody's ever heard of. So, in Florida, you kind of stick out a little bit more. Like, I'll go play somewhere and it seems to really grab attention, just not saying because I'm that good or anything, but just because it's different than what they normally hear. So I would say, playing. I'd probably rather play Florida right now, just because it's unique enough that it's gonna grab more attention than Texas will.
Right. What is the it popped in my head while you were talking about the differences between the two. What is the biggest, compared to both and all of their places that you've played? What is the biggest struggle that you've noticed?
Biggest struggle I've noticed with what, as far as
The,
where I've played.
that and just with the crowds and getting out there to people and stuff like that. What?
The biggest struggle. So here, I firmly believe, whenever it comes to music, obviously you got to be able to sing for the most part. You don't have to be a good singer. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to kind of sing. Um, you have to be able to write a pretty good song. But really, when it comes to making it, I guess, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't made it, so I'm not. Some people might hear this and say, "Oh, he has no idea what he's talking about," but I firmly believe this. If you think about it, everything you do, whenever it comes to being self-made and trying to, thrive in a certain market, or whatever you want to call it, It's all about marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, Beyonce won Country Artist of the Year.
Yeah.
You think it's because she's a great country artist?
No.
No, it's just because of money and marketing.
Yep.
So the music industry is a lot like politics, and I'm not real big into politics. So obviously we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but the a lot of it depends on how you market yourself.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen people on TV and you're like, this is terrible,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
they got a really good marketing team. So and I always kind of joked about it. I say, you know what, I might not be the best singer, I might not be the best songwriter, but by God, I'm gonna try to be the best marketer I can, because that's what it takes.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to kind of sing. You got to be able to kind of write a song. I mean, if you really dive into that rabbit hole, you'll see kind of more what I'm talking about. But there's there's people that are super talented, but they just they don't care. They're not into marketing or doing much. So I mean, you don't really ever hear much from them, and that's what it comes down to, is marketing. So the biggest struggle is trying to put yourself out there and trying to market it correctly and try to just grab as much attention as you can, because there's a lot of musicians are uh a lot of them typically are introverts, and they're kind of shy, and they're kind of to themselves and kind of weird. We're all a little bit weird, and most of them don't like attention. So I think that's where that's where, if you want to make it, you got to be able to market and really put yourself out there.
Right. Oh, do you have any future plans for like EPs or? I know you said that
I've
you
got
got a single coming out soon.
Yep. I've got I'm working on releasing an acoustic EP with 4 or 5 songs on it.
Okay.
I've got that song The Night that's released. I'm gonna release an acoustic version of that. But it's gonna be called it's gonna be David Roland, probably you know, um acoustic series, or acoustic jams volume 1. I don't know, because I've always been an acoustic player, so that's kind of more my thing. And the way we're going to do it, I mean, it's going to be raw and uncut, and it's going to be set the mic up, sit in the room, play it and sing it, and boom, that's it. Like, there's not going to be any, not, other than just a little EQ, there's not going to be any editing to it. It's going to be pretty raw. It's going to sound good for, through a radio system, but it's all done with professional stuff, but it's not going to be anything fancy. I mean, it's gonna have, you'll be able to hear that it's just gonna be like sitting in front of me you know, at a little venue playing or anything like that. So it's gonna be pretty raw.
I got you. So you got one song out, that I've noticed gets a lot of attention from people. It's called ADHD.
Oh yeah, I've got 2 songs out. ADHD is one of them, and it's one of my least favorite songs. But people seem to really like it. Every time I play it on live, like TikTok, everybody's like, "Oh, this is badass," and I'm like, "It's my least favorite song." I mean, I'd rather sing, probably rather sing Pink Pony Club or something. It's literally my least favorite song.
Well,
It
I knew it
happened.
was gonna. I told you it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, give me like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Plug my mic into here, and then
I can take a leak real quick.
yeah, go ahead. We'll take a bathroom break.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. And recording. All right, and we're back on cam. We were talking about ADHD.
Yeah, the song called ADHD. That was one of my first. That was my second song I released July of this year. July 2nd is whenever it released, and it was my least favorite song. I did it just because I'd been so tied up with working on that song called The Night, my first release. that I said, man, I've got to break away from this song and just do something different other than think about how can I make the night better, you know? So I wrote this, and um, I wrote ADHD right after that, and just went and recorded it and just launched it out there, and released it. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people really like it.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the other song that you mentioned, "The Night."
The night, that's one that I wrote. I wrote that. I started writing that song in May of this year, and I released it in June, or no, maybe it was April. I was sitting out there. I flew back from Florida to Texas, and I was sitting out there on the tailgate of my truck, and I was sitting there, just just like this, playing the guitar, and I was I was sitting there one night, and it was like 2 a.m. in Texas, where I'm from, kind of live up on a hill, and it's just always super breezy. And I was like, man, this reminds me of Panama City, because I lived there in 2018. Me and my wife did, and we were working there, and she was in Melbourne, Florida, because that's where we lived. She's from there. I wasn't, obviously. We met there, and I'd be sitting there in Panama City, and she'd call me and say, "Hey, I'm on my way. I'm coming up there to see you or whatever," and it'd be, I mean, 150, 200 miles for her to drive. And she would drive there. She'd sometimes leave at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, get there at 10 o'clock, midnight, something like that. I don't remember how far it was. It was a long drive, probably 6 or 7 hours. Show up at midnight, 1 a.m., and the, and I was sitting there playing my guitar. I was kind of, and I was like, it was breezy, and I was like, I can't forget those late nights in Panama. And that's kind of how it came.
Yeah,
When you would call and say that you're 200 miles away, and I was like, so that's what I had. And I was like, man, because I was like, man, this reminds me of Panama City. And then I said, oh shit, and I found that little melody. Anytime I
yeah,
write a song, I'll find a melody that sounds catchy. I'll have the
yeah.
guitar part first, and then I'll put the lyrics to kind of match with it. And if you notice, like, the melody of my guitar matches the melody of my vocal. Like, I always do that. And apparently it's not a super common thing, because I had a lot of people say, man, like, your voice matches like the melody of the guitar, which is really cool. And I didn't think it was anything that big of a deal, but a lot of people, that's what a lot of people, when I'm placed somewhere, that's like kind of one of the first things I hear a lot. So, but yeah, that's how that song's called The Night. And we'd be up really, really late. She'd show up late, and that's how it goes. And that's how I wrote that song, though. When I
Yeah.
first when I first met her, I went and picked her up from her house, and we sat out there in her driveway, and that's kind of how the song started out. Sat there last night in your driveway. It's kind of how the song started. So a lot of that's written for her.
Yeah. That's a great story behind all that, and I
Yeah, it's
appreciate you sharing that with us.
yeah, we've had our ups and downs. We've been together for 7, 8 years now, something like that, 7. And just like anything, it's got its trials and tribulations or whatever. You always go through stuff, and the it's it's been really good. We're still together. I'm down here working, but she's up there in Cocoa Beach right now, and I'm going over to Tampa to work, but they're gonna, I got a 5-year-old with her, and we're gonna they're gonna come to Tampa once my 5-year-old gets out of school. So yeah, we get along really well. It works out really, really well.
That's great. Sing us one of them that you just mentioned, either the night or the song that you hate.
I ain't gonna do ADHD.
So you're gonna do Pink Pony Pub, right?
Yeah, Pink Pony Club. Yeah, or
Yeah,
maybe
club. Sorry, I was thinking of Gulf Shores right there.
maybe a little lime in the coconut. No, no, I'll do the night. Now I do it in the recorded version. I do it in in B flat, but I'm not gonna do all that just because it's way, just acoustic wise it doesn't sound as good. But this is the first one. This is the one that's on Spotify. I love it because it's in 3/4, waltz.
Right.
Sat there last night in your driveway. Woke up this morning, you begged me to stay. And whoever knew we'd take it this far. Through every heartache and every scar, it made me feel like I played the right card. And whoever knew we'd take it this far. I can't forget those late nights in Panama when you would call and say that you're 200 miles away, and we would stay up late just to feel the world pause for a while. In the middle of the night, now the sunrise paints your silhouette. You're chasing dreams that we haven't lived yet, and we act like time is moving too fast. And I can't forget those late nights in Panama when you would call and say that you're 200 miles away, and we would stay up late just to feel the world pause for a while. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, we're in a place we used to talk about going through the motions but never counting it out. All of the times that really slipped away, still we found shelter in the past that we made. I can't forget those late nights in Panama when you call and say that you're 200 miles away, and we would stay. I can't forget those late nights in Panama when you call and say that you're 200 miles away, and we would stay up late just to feel the world pause for a while. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, Usually I do it up a whole step, but when I play it acoustic now, I start doing it kind of with the capo one. But no, that's the first song I ever wrote and released. That's actually the first song I ever wrote, and that was in May of this year, April or May. I probably started it in April. I actually booked a studio session, and I booked a studio session to go record it, and I didn't have it finished. But I knew that if I put myself in that pinch, then I could finish it. And so I booked it one night for the next morning at 9 a.m. So I stayed up till 5 a.m. finishing that. So I had probably a third done when I booked it. So yeah, yeah, I like that one a lot. That's a good song.
I do too. That's a real pretty song.
Yeah, it's got kind of the release version kind of has a Tom Petty vibe because there's a lot of harmonies and a lot of acoustic driven, So it's kind of that's kind of my jam.
Like you said, that is your favorite one, correct?
The nights that song is really special to me just because it was my first one I wrote and released. Obviously it's for
Right,
my wife, so
right.
it's definitely very special to me. My favorite one was Heading Home. That's probably my
Okay.
favorite one. I've got another one that I've got recorded that's not released called If I Didn't Have You, and that was written for my wife too.
Okay. And are you gonna include those on some maybe on down the road some acoustic sets or?
Yeah, no, I mean, so I've got If I Didn't Have You, I've got that one recorded and it's a full band thing. I've got one called Wish You'd Call. That's really good. Like, I mean, I've got four right now that are recorded that I've not released or done anything with.
Okay.
Yeah, Heading Home, I've got If I Didn't Have You, I've got Wish You'd Call, and there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it's just three of them. I always say I got five for some reason, but I've got once I release those three, then I'll have five out there. But I'm gonna do an acoustic set. I've got probably 10 songs that are half written that I just need to sit down and mess with them. I need to stay off TikTok live and actually sit down and work on them. You know what I mean? Like, so that's uh that's kind of one of the things that, especially when I'm out working, when I'm on the road and stuff, that gives me an opportunity to really sit down and no distractions and really work on it.
Man, what is your right now in front of you? You know, it might be 6 months, it might be 2 years from now. What is your goal? And right now, what you're looking at, your plans for the upcoming year?
If I have the if the opportunity was given to me to be signed, I'll start with this. I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna try to stay independent. I'm not
Okay.
saying there's gonna be people out there wanting to sign me right off the bat. I mean, I don't know. You never know. But I plan on staying independent. Um, my goal right now is to get at least 12 to 15 songs released. Not by the end of this year because that's 2 months, but in the next 6 8 months, I plan on having 10 15 songs on Spotify. I've already got some guys that want to put a band together because most of the musicians with all my stuff is all studio musicians that I know all of them. Put a band together so we can start really playing and really trying to make it happen. I'm just trying to make sure I get enough material because I'm one of those guys that's like I'll put all my ducks in a row and make sure that now I am a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy, but whenever it comes to the music, I want to make sure that I've got enough to fill an hour and a half slot. That way I can always kind of move the set list around each time. And I want to be able to deliver with, whoever's in my band, make sure that I can get it all put together to where we're playing places that are paying good and make sure that all my guys get paid well. I mean, obviously, I'd love to make good money doing it. And at some point, if it pops off, then I will. But as of right now, my main goal would be to really get a solid band together that works with me and that's fluid with me and kind of knows what I'm looking for and make sure that we're not playing just little shows. I mean, I know you got to start somewhere, but I'm not trying to skip the line. But I want to really be able to take care of my guys, whoever it ends up being.
Right. Which that's understandable too, because you know most of them now have families and stuff like that, but they need to take care of as well. I've heard some horror stories about, some people, getting small gigs in Nashville. There's one guy that I heard a story about, and he's playing 3 to 4, sets a day, and they're not getting paid for that. They're making money off of tips, and they're having to divide the tips amongst themselves. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a horror show.
Yeah. That sounds like you're just doing it for practice.
Right. But man, what is you just went over your goals and stuff like that, which I appreciate you for elaborating on those.
Yeah.
What is some advice that you'd give to somebody that's looking into starting out into the music scene?
Don't wait. If you want to do it, just do it. Don't be
Very
like
right.
me, because I've been playing. I was a pretty astute guitar player at the age of 18. It'd been 5 years I've been playing. So I'm a rhythm guitarist, so I'm not a lead guy. Um, but looking back, I've wasted 17 years when I could be doing stuff. Because I'd go play open mics when I was 18, 19 years old. And it always involved alcohol. And the two things: stay sober, perform with no alcohol. Don't drink before you go, because if you have to use that, then it's people say, "Oh, I sound better when I drink." That's not true. People tell themselves that to make themselves feel better. But and there's nothing wrong with having a beer or something, but just wait till you're done playing. Like don't drink and then go play, because it's just, you gotta look at it like a job. Are you going to get a nice little buzz and then go to work? And some people do, but is that really the idea? No, it's not an ideal situation. So, you know, just start writing. Anytime you write and people hear your song, it's always very, very vulnerable, because you're kind of like putting out there something that you've experienced, or something that's gone through your mind or whatever. And so it's very it's very personal. So just don't let I love listening to good songwriters tell a story. You ever heard of Justin Furstenfield?
Yeah.
So yeah, the lead singer Justin Furstenfield, he's an incredible songwriter, and I really, really, really like him a lot. I like his songwriting. I like how emotional his stuff is and how depressing it kind of is, but it's real. You know what I mean?
Listen to them. My favorite song, or two
Blue
songs,
Orchid.
that's probably one of hers. My personal favorites is "Hate Me," and then I really do enjoy the acoustic version of
Oh
the
yeah,
"Oh My" song. That
yeah.
was a great one. Then you got "Into the Ocean." That
Oh
was
yeah, no, Blue
really good.
October is incredible. Like
Yeah.
Justin, he's got a solo acoustic album. He's got a song called Blue Orchid. Is that how you say it? Orchid.
Orchid.
It's the most depressing song I've ever heard in my life, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean? And I love stuff like that, because it's so raw and it's so real. And that whole album, it's called it's under, if you look under Spotify, it's Justin Furstenfield, and the whole album. But he's such an incredible songwriter. The album's called Songs from an Open Book. That's what it is. And he's got "Hate Me" on there, and "The Answer," and oh, good grief, it's incredible. It's one of those things you listen to when you're by yourself, because if you listen to it going down the road with carload of people, everybody's gonna be asking you if you're okay.
Right.
But it's so
See,
good.
and he's got, if people really looked into him, his backstory, especially with the "Hate Me" thing, that
Hmm.
song was for his mom. His backstory is a real sad backstory.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
he's an incredible artist.
absolutely, absolutely. And I do appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The yeah, check out just keep looking on Spotify, because I've got a lot of stuff dropping.
I will,
It's
and
all,
I'll
yeah.
definitely have you linked below in the descriptions of the
Yeah.
video on YouTube. And anywhere that I can add a description, I'll have you linked and your buddy Travis. I'll also throw
Yeah,
Travis
yeah,
back up there.
Travis. Yeah, Travis is incredible. Like you hear Travis's stuff, and his the stuff that he's had out. That's him. But him and we go back and forth on music all the time with ideas. I'm bouncing more ideas off him because he's been doing it so long. It's kind of one of those things like, you do it for so long. It's still kind of new to me. So like I'm still in the honeymoon phase with it. So sometimes I probably wear him out with it, but I really, really take what he says to heart because I know, he'll tell me, hey, that sounds like crap. Don't do that. And I don't get my feelings hurt because I know that it's, for the best. So but yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
I have to go to Alabama, hang out with you sometime.
Absolutely. Come
I'm
on.
always all over the place.
Come on. I can take you to a couple places, maybe show you some places you could do some shows at.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. You know a lot of bar owners or people that own them or people that run them?
I got a few connections. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, if they ever need an opener, man, I'll come up there. They ain't got to pay me much. Just pay me for whatever it costs me in gas to get there. I'd love to come do that. You know what I mean? I enjoy doing it. For me, it's not really about the money. I mean, yeah, if I could not have to work a regular job and be able to just travel and play music, obviously I would like to do that. But it's I do really well with what I do, so it's not like all the music's on the back burner because I'm putting a lot into it. But I'm just kind of throwing it at the wall, seeing what sticks. Just try to put myself out there.
Okay.
So,
Well, good luck to you.
oh man, yeah, dude, I appreciate. It. I really do.
Well, if you want to, if you feel up to it, and you're willing to, I'll let you sign off with a song if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
All right. And to my viewers and listeners, thank everybody for tuning in with Mr. David Roland. It's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for showing your support. And if you go look in the descriptions, you'll find David's and Travis's links below. Please go to give them a listen and a follow. Thank y'all.
So this is one that I've got recorded as well, and this one's called "If I Didn't Have You." I wrote this in June of this year, June or July. No, it was June. It's called "If I Didn't Have You." I wrote this in Denver, Colorado. I drove up into the mountains one day when work was slow. We didn't have anything to do, so I drove up into the mountains and said, "Hey, man, I need to." I literally stood on the side of a mountain. I was here and just try to write something. But, anyways, this one's called "If I Didn't Have You." Early morning, start out my day. Turn on the news, nothing good to say. Kiss my wife and tell her goodbye. Life ain't perfect, but damn, it feels right. I'm thankful for the things I have and the love that I have lost. Had my share of broken hearts, and I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have you. Oh, if I didn't have you. Calloused hands and dirt on my jeans. Working all day, still chasing my dreams. Got 2 kids and a beautiful life. It ain't easy, but damn, it feels right. I'm thankful for the things I have and the love that I have lost. Had my share of broken hearts, and I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have you. If I didn't have you. And I still think about the times And I'd spend wondering how the story's gonna end. I'm thankful for the things I have and the love that I've lost. Had my share of broken hearts, and I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have you. If I didn't have you. Oh, if I didn't have you. Oh, if I didn't have you. Yeah, it's one that I wrote up there in the mountains. It's called "If I Didn't Have You," but the recorded version is a lot more up tempo. So
Sounded great, man. We
cool, man. I
appreciate it.
appreciate it. Yes, sir. I'll stay in touch. I'll send you my number. You can text me or whatever. And sometime if I ever come up through Alabama, we'll all hang out.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
cool,
all
dude.
right.
I appreciate it.